Okay, good evening, my friend. I just finished the whole things almost, and then now what am I going to do is I need to put some extra work of the weathering, especially I wanna put some rust effect, and in this time if I consider to think this vehicle itself is pretty modern, so I think the paint itself is so tough, nothing weak. I mean, no, not it's very hard to rust. I think if I compare with the past armored vehicle, if I compare with that, I think the modern vehicle is pretty strong surface. So I don't think there is so much rusty things put on it. However, I just try to put a little bit. So now am I going to use is watercolor pencil. I just prepare several mature color for rust effect. The reason why am I using the water based is the point. It's the things that actually I did some little work onto top of the floor as the some dust effect using by enamel based color already. I mean, it's nearly the washing process, and it does pretty well. It does very effective. It does pretty nicely done. However, if I use the some enamel works as the lusty effect, like this one. This is the enamel base, right? If I did it using by that one, and then maybe I may wiped off to try that again. In meanwhile, if I using the enamel thinner to wipe off the wrong effect, perhaps the dust effect itself, the things that I did also wiped off. So the result, I did nothing, right? A whole, you washed away, you wiped off the whole things away, right? So in that case, watercolor based paint is pretty useful because it doesn't affect by enamel, right? So once I put the okay, I just did some I just did some test. I just fill in the water on a brush and then try to melt the watercolor pencil. So it's easy to melt by water, right? So I just it's really I just put some rusty work. You know, in that case, you don't need to be so sure. You just put some color, light washing, right? So you don't have to be so nervous at that time. This is the water, I think. No, I think. Actually, recent day I haven't speak English so well, so I cannot explain much worse than before. So it doesn't mind. It doesn't matter. Okay, just using some other colors, which is like this, and filling with the water a little bit, and then try to melt it off. Then put some, right? And actually, the water is a little bit. You need to wait a little bit rather than enamel paint, because the water itself is very. It takes a time to dry completely. So maybe you might wait a little bit, but it's just fine. So put some color. Okay. Can you see this? Right. And you just clean a brush. And then what am I going to do? The next is very simple. The simple way as the enamel effect. I use the cotton swab, filling with the water, right? And then just wiped off some amount of water, and then try to trim the unnecessary rusty color, right? So in this time, I don't have to be so care about the base color that I put as the dust work, because this is the water. So water doesn't affect the surface of the enamel weathered surface. So if I use the enamel color, maybe I just was wiped off the whole things, and you have to do the same thing again, as start with the dust work, right? But in this case, I just using the water, so the last color, only the last color itself wiped off, because this is the effective for water, right? So the surface never suffered by extra work, something like this, right? So in that case, I just can say watercolor pencil is pretty handy if I doing the different type of the weathering effect. Maybe if you don't, you can just do the dust effect first, and then you just cover with the semi-gloss, like a clear color or whatsoever. You need to cover. You need to protect to another behavior, right? But in this case, I just don't have to be something like that, because I used a different container, right? So you just trim at least you will feel satisfied, right? Nine minutes. 9 minutes. I just can doing this only within the 20 minutes because of the SD card. So I just have to be so hurry. It doesn't matter, right? So as the same techniques, you can use the dust effect as well. If you want to have some more extra work of the dust work, maybe you can put some sandy dust in a corner of the turret. It's all up to you. It doesn't have to be something very formal. You just can do whatever you want. But however, this is the modern vehicle, right? So I don't think there is so much rusty dirt on it, right? Something like that. Very easy. And then you just use the water, trim with the water, right? So I just very easy to wipe it off, and even I can still remain the enamel dust effect, right? I think I don't feel any difference between oil color based pencil or watercolor based pencil, but the container itself is different, so I can compare, right? Each of the material never affect by each other, right? So I don't have to care about so much of the based color, right? Yeah, if you the pencil itself, let's take on here. Man. 日本語で喋れりゃどんだけ楽かっていうもんなんだけどね。まあそういうことですわ。And this is pretty easy and handy, and everybody can do this. So if you are really interested in, you did too much, right? Sometimes, okay, everywhere you can put the last effect everywhere, and then maybe your model itself is pretty damn rusty appearance, right? But it's just fine. But if I look at the simple complete model, maybe the rust effect shouldn't be something like that. Okay, so each part of effect must be well considered, well choiced, right? So this part I did something, this part I did something, this part, okay, not the whole things the same, always different. It makes your model more like dramatically impressive. Okay, and AK Interactive provide us pretty much of the color choice material. So once you are interested in, maybe you can try it. Maybe you can even use the oil colored. This is oil colored, oil based color, right? So it can be affected by water. It can be affected by the enamel. oils in it, right? So you can always think of choose, which kind of material is suitable for your surface of the model. If you really care about the oil material weathered effect, maybe you can use the water on it, because it's never effect. If you missed, you don't have to be wiped off the whole thing, right? はいかいはいかいはいかいあと11分あと4分か。はい、じゃあこんな感じで、それではさようなら。See you.